So, when thinking about innovation, I think one of the first things we have to ask ourselves is, what is innovation? Is it only about novelty, so something being new, or is it also about something being better? Is it about improvement? And I think when we think about global governance innovation, we should aim at innovation being about both novelty and improvement. One key insight is that innovation is context dependent. When we look at global development governance, for instance, a key aspect that stands out is that all kinds of global governance relations and institutions unfold in contexts of hierarchy, of vertical relations, of power relations. So thinking about improving global governance in that context means addressing in direct or indirect ways power relations. For example, what does it mean to have common shared standards? Are they set up by all stakeholders in an equitable way? Or is it that some stakeholders dominate in terms of which standards, which principles count more than others? It is about, where does the funding come from? Do only some provide funding while others are recipients of resource provisions? An interesting example is triangular cooperation, where both rich and poorer nations, international organizations, other stakeholders come together to cooperate on a more horizontal level. And that means, for instance, that all stakeholders provide resources to a certain extent, sometimes in kind, sometimes funding, sometimes more at the knowledge level. So I think we need to aim at governance mechanisms that create and contribute to creating a level playing field where different stakeholders in a very unequal context can come together to cooperate meaningfully. When we think about inclusion, for example, multi-stakeholder partnerships can do a really good job in bringing different stakeholders to the table. But the big question is, are they just there to talk, or are they there to take decisions jointly? All these different kinds of stakeholders. And I think meaningful inclusion requires more than just bringing people to the table. So I think meaningful inclusion is about bringing people to the table, having decision-making mechanisms where all people involved have a say, and then making sure that unequal power relations don't have an impact on how implementation works. And that means, for example, identifying which kinds of resources, contributions everyone at the table can make. So it's not only about funding, it is about making sure that all stakeholders have a meaningful say, and in both decision-making and implementation.